Hello, you are listening to the Natural Healing Show for UK Health Radio. I'm your host, Catherine Kerrigan, medical intuitive healer, Amazon #1 best-selling author. You can find out more about me and my work at catherinekerrigan.com and unlimitedenergynow.com. While you're there, definitely sign up for my newsletter so you can learn even more about how you can heal yourself naturally. Now, I'm so excited to share this show with you today. We have as our special guest Nicolas Travis. Nicolas Travis is the founder of Allies of Skin, and you can find out more about Nicolas Travis and his wonderful work at his website, alliesofskin.com. Welcome, Nicolas Travis.
Thank you for having me.
So, Nicolas Travis, will you explain for our audience about the international nature of your company? So, where are you located? Where did you grow up? And where do you have offices and folks?
Yes, so I'm originally from Singapore, but currently I'm living between Bangkok and Berlin. I'm moving to LA next year. But currently we also have teams in Singapore, London, Bangkok, Berlin, and LA.
Okay, my goodness. Okay, so you're an international entrepreneur. Now, for our audience, I have to share a little bit about how I found out about Nicolas Travis and his wonderful products because I grew up in Savannah, Georgia, and I ran around like most of us at that time with no sunblock. And as a result of that, I've had three skin cancer surgeries, the first on my nose, and then most recently on my ear and lower leg. So I'm always researching SPF and sunblock and how it works. And Allies of Skin sunblock was recommended by Ali Andre, who's a Parisian makeup artist. And I was like, all right, if Ali Andre says that Nicolas Travis's sunblock is great, then I need to try it. I am now a raving fan. So I am 65 years old as of this recording. I don't dye my hair, I no Botox. So this is all real, okay? And I remember somebody years ago saying to me, I'm here to show people what's possible by natural means. And I am now a raving fan of Allies of Skin skincare products. So,
Thank you so much, Catherine,
yes,
for trusting us with your skin.
yes, it really is a big deal. Now, Nicholas Travis, how did you personally get interested in skincare?
So there are two personal reasons. One was that when I was a teenager, I had really severe acne, and I found the entire process of shopping for products really daunting and intimidating. And I quickly realized that there were just a lot of empty promises on the market, and that really ignited my passion for skincare. And I've always been fascinated by how the skin works as an organ. So I did biomedical and pharmaceutical science, and so we create every single formulation from scratch. And the second more personal reason was when I was 19, I had a really severe accident. I smashed my face and I needed to have reconstructive surgery. And I went to the best hospital and what I thought was the best surgeon, but he ended up butchering my face. So I had multiple infections. I had necrosis where the infection was eating the flesh of my skin. And so I had holes in my face. And it was after many failed surgeries and a failed suicide attempt that I needed to see a therapist. And my therapist said, let's assume you cannot kill yourself anymore. Let's make a list of all the things you want to accomplish by the time you're 30. What does that list look like? And it was then that I realized, if I was crawling out of my skin every day, hating myself every day, then maybe other people would. And if I could somehow channel that into helping people feel more confident or more fearless in their own skin, then my pain would have been worth it. And if anything, the skin is the largest organ we have, and having things like acne or sun damage or even holes in your face can be really debilitating. And we live in an age of social media right now where everybody's posting, their perfect days, right? And sometimes you can feel really, really lonely, and the world is a lonely place. So yeah, so those were the reasons why I founded Allies Skin. I mean, honestly, this is the only thing I want to do in my life. So in this lifetime, I guess this is it for me.
Okay. And as you pointed out for our audience, your skin is actually your largest organ. Now, in my work as a medical intuitive healer, over the years, people have come to me about almost every skin issue you could name, including rashes from head to toe, psoriasis, all of that. And especially, you have to understand your skin is actually also your largest organ of detoxification. So, a lot of times when we're having issues with our skin, it's really your liver or your digestive system or also your kidneys. So, I figured that out. But what was interesting for me also over the years, I've had a number of clients who were actually facialists, and all the skincare products that they were putting on their face were actually making them break out. And I know that because I have ways of testing what works and what doesn't work. So I developed a very jaded view of skincare products because, as Nicolas Travis pointed out, a lot of what you can even spend a lot of money on actually doesn't work and make everything better. So I really appreciate people like Nicolas Travis who've done the research and who've done the work. Now, Nicolas Travis, to make sure that what you're putting on your skin is healthy, right?
Yes.
So, Nicolas Travis, you yourself have been on a personal healing journey. And here we are at the Natural Healing Show for UK Health Radio. What has helped you the most on your personal healing journey?
I think I'm at a stage in my life where I've tried it all, right? I've tried therapy, I tried medication, I tried psychics, I tried shamans, I've tried them all. But if anything, I'm at a stage right now where it's about unconditional self-acceptance.
Mm.
And what I aspire to reach to that point, when I was younger, a lot of the emphasis, as we do when we're younger, was based upon this notion or this idea of what I have on the outside, so call it physical beauty. But as I get older, right now, I want to focus on my spiritual beauty, and that means being so at ease and at home in my own skin that it really doesn't matter what I have on the outside. And that's the place that I want to get to.
That's such a beautiful message. And, I also want to say that over the years, a lot of people have come to me about losing weight. Okay. And then I talk to them about, changing the way they look on the outside, like taking better care of their skin, wearing clothes that they feel beautiful in. And when we feel beautiful on the outside, which is a feeling, often we take better care of ourselves. And we eat better and we exercise better and we rest better. So I love that you're working on unconditional self-acceptance. Now, Nicolas Travis, so many people suffer from all kinds of skin problems. If someone is listening to this show and has trouble with their skin, where would you recommend they start to improve their skin?
I think it really depends on, I don't think it's a one size fits all solution. I think it really depends on the current condition of your skin, right? So, for example, if you have things like eczema or psoriasis, for example, or if you're constantly out in the sun and you've got, a bunch of moles that you really don't know, I would suggest you seek help from a medical professional. I think that's something that's super important. That's something that you can't really treat yourself. However, if you have zits and breakouts, I mean, I think the most important thing is to wash your face every day, is to make sure you apply SPF, sun protection. That's key. And then, you can throw in things like serums and moisturizers depending on what your goals are. But it really depends on what you're trying to treat. So there are specific actives that you can use for specific concerns. So I would actually, if you have normal skin, if you are just like, okay, I want to start taking care of my skin, you cannot go wrong with a cleanser, an SPF, and a moisturizer. So that's where I would start.
So, Nicolas Travis, many of our listeners are in the UK, where, let's face it, it's dark and it's rainy.
Yeah.
But that would also include Paris. Paris is also dark and rainy frequently. So many people think that they don't have to wear SPF every day. And so, can you explain for our audience why is it critical that we wear SPF every single day?
Yeah, so well, I would say if there's a thunderstorm outside and it's completely dark, then yeah, you definitely don't need to wear SPF. However, it's there's still light out, and you can still see the buildings and things like that. That's when, as long as there's light, there's UV. And in the presence of UV, that's where, a lot of the, free radical damage happens to the skin and the collagen breakdown and everything over time. So even though it may not be like a sunny day, as long as there's light, there's still the presence of UV light.
Yeah, my understanding is if you can see your hand in front of your face, you should be wearing SPF. Now,
Yes.
Nicholas Travis, you are a supporter of a foundation to help burn victims. Will you share for our audience about that foundation and where can they find more information?
Yes, it's called the Katie Piper Foundation. So it's KATIE PIPER Foundation. And you can find them on the more information on their website and also on Instagram. It's the same handle. And they are they're an incredible foundation started actually by Katie Piper herself, who was a victim of I believe it was a attack, chemical acid attack. And the foundation actually helps to support and rehabilitate women, mostly women, but also some men who are dealing with not just fire burns, but also, again, a lot of the women that we work with have been on the receiving end of attacks from, their ex-partners and things like that, acid attacks from the ex-partners and things like that. And so it's an incredible one that's really near and dear to my heart. Because, I kind of feel like we live in an age where the normal mode of selling a skincare product. And I'm not saying every brand does this. I'm just saying most of the time you feel really bad, then you buy a product in the hopes of, resolving that, in the hopes of, that'll make you feel better about yourself. And if anything, I think what I aspire to do is to be the kind of or create the kind of beauty brand that makes people feel safe. And if anything, I want to just create products that give people joy. And we tell the stories with our skin. And I think, as we work with the Katie Piper Foundation, and it's all on Instagram right now, we have a campaign called In My Healing Era, in which we highlight a lot of some of the stories of these incredible burn survivors who tell their stories of how they heal, or their journey, their healing journey. And the one common theme is the fact that they never really gave up. And it's the fact that, in order to get through the darkest days, they have to dig deep and look at themselves in a different way and find new things about themselves that they love. And if anything, I think there's the common thing that kind of holds us together, in which a lot of us suffer from this feeling like we're not good enough. And I don't ever want to be the kind of skincare brand that or beauty brand that makes you feel not good enough so that I can make a profit.
That's such a beautiful message. Now, here in Atlanta, one of my dearest friends years ago tried to commit suicide by setting himself on fire.
Oh,
And
wow.
he still has scars from the burn.
Yeah,
So
I'm so
fortunately,
sorry.
he is still with us. So if someone has gone through a horrific burn, whether it's on their body or on their face, how long does it take to heal from burns in your experience?
Right? I mean, what do you define healing, right? Because you can, I mean, you can your skin can stop burning, but then you have the scars, right? And you have the irregularities on the skin. I mean, those can never go away. So so I think when you speak to a burn survivor, the the scars are also on the inside.
Well, great observation. And with that, let's take a break and listen to a message from one of our sponsors here at UK Health Radio. I'm your host, Catherine Kerrigan, medical intuitive healer, Amazon #1 bestselling author. We're listening to Nicolas Travis, founder of Allies of Skin, and you can find out about his wonderful work at alliesofskin.com. We'll be right back. Nicolas Travis, here we are at the Natural Healing Show for UK Health Radio. And so many of our listeners are aware of the importance of eating clean food and drinking clean water. When I do medical intuitive readings, one of the things that I look at is a person's overall toxicity level, which is really an indicator of how clean you're currently living and how much you've cleaned up for maybe mistakes that you've had in the past, whether you were smoking or drinking or around toxic chemicals. I've had clients who used to work, for example, at a printing company, and 20 years later, they get cancer. So, as you know, so many skincare products are actually toxic for the skin and harmful for the body, which is what I said. I would have estheticians come and everything they're selling their clients makes them break out. And I'd be like, seriously, you're charging all this money and all this stuff is making you break out? How can a person tell they're spending money on products that will make their skin healthier?
I think at the end of the day, brands cannot launch toxic products, right? Because it's just a bad for business. And for example, in Europe and in the UK, you have to be registered. So you have to, for example, if I create a formulation, I have to go through safety assessment. I have to have all my ducks lined up in a row before I can actually get the legal authorization to sell in the EU and the UK. So there's a bunch of stringent things that will have to happen. And if anything, I think the best way to shop for products is to make sure that you know what actives you're looking for, right? Which is, for example, there's a wealth of information on the internet right now. You can go to YouTube. There are a lot of doctors you can follow on Instagram. There's a lot of advice that you could really get. And so it isn't so much about, the brand per se. So for example, the best way to shop for products would be to shop based on what you can afford. And let's say you're looking for vitamin C serum, then it's about figuring out, okay, do I go for, a 10% one or a 15% or even higher? Can you actually tolerate something higher? Or if you have, for example, the gold standard in skincare is a retinoid. Which form of retinoids work best for me? Is it in an oil form, in a cream form, in a serum form? There's a lot of things to consider, but the internet is a great can be a horrible source of misinformation, but there's actually if you follow the right people and you can follow a lot of great dermatologists and cosmetic chemists on social media that can give you a lot of great information also.
And personally, after I found out about your SPF and started using that every day, I also started using your vitamin C serum and your antioxidant moisturizer. So I'm only using 3 products from your line, and I can already tell a huge difference.
Well, thank you. Your skin looks great, so thank you so much.
Now, as you know, and as you've experienced after having had injuries to your face, when our skin doesn't look good, we may feel ashamed, sad, frustrated, and even
Mhm.
self-destructed. Like I've had teenage clients and they're afraid to leave the house because they don't like the way their skin looks. How can changing the way our skin looks on the outside improve our self-esteem?
That's a really great question, and that's something that a lot of our customers struggle with, and that's honestly something that I struggle with a lot. Also because I struggled with it when I was a teenager because of acne, but then now as a grown-up 36-year-old, I struggle with it because I kind of feel like, well, I have a skincare brand. Would people buy skincare from somebody with bad skin, And so there's this pressure that I have sometimes to kind of look a certain way because I'm just like, well, I can't be a fraud. But then by doing that, I'm not allowing myself to be human, right? And I think if anything, the beautiful thing about the skin is that it's one of the only organs we have that's capable of regenerating itself. And so you could have acne, you could have sun damage, you could have rosacea, you could have all of that. But, if you are consistent with your skincare routine, if you find what works for you, you can actually turn everything around because your skin goes through this renewal cycle every 28 days. So it renews again, it restarts, it resets, which is something that's so beautiful. And it's also very symbolic.
Right, rejuvenation. Now, here we are at the Natural Healing Show for the UK Health Radio, and I'm going to give a couple of suggestions that I give my clients who are struggling with self-esteem. So, in natural healing, there's something called flower essences. Flower essences are made from flowers, they're vibrational remedies. They have no negative side effects, and they work on the mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies. And they're in the Australian bush flower essences. There's an Australian bush essence called Five Corners. And Five Corners is a great flower essence to take if you are suffering from low self-esteem because you don't like the way that you look. And when you take flower essences, take 2 to 4 drops under your tongue 3 to 5 times a day. And you put them directly under your tongue and it'll go into the entire acupuncture system. Um, Another thing that I like to do when I'm working with people with really bad self-esteem is I like them to draw a picture of themselves. So I get them to just, hand them a piece of paper and some crayons or a coloring book and some some arts and crafts, and I asked them to draw a picture of themselves, and then I as they are now, and then I asked them to draw a second picture of how they think they would like to be, and then I asked them to tell me the story about what's the difference and what do they think they need to do to get there. um, as a medical intuitive healer with 31 years experience, I feel that everyone needs a healing on feeling good enough. And a great affirmation is I am good enough, I feel good enough, I do enough, I am enough. And one of the things I think that has helped me personally is to realize that you are a unique vibration. There's no one like you, just like your thumbprint is unique. And if you're here on Earth, the world needs your unique vibration. You're already a VIP, you're a vibrational interference pattern. And
I
even if
love that.
yeah, so even if you haven't discovered your purpose like Nicolas Travis yet, you have a unique vibration and the world needs your unique energy. And so you don't have to be somebody else. You just have to be the best version of you. And the world needs your light. When you shine your light, and Nicolas Travis was talking about spiritual beauty, then other people can find their way by your own light. Now, Nicolas Travis, I love that you were talking about spiritual beauty. Tell us more about what you mean by spiritual beauty. What does spiritual beauty mean to you?
Yeah, it's that unshakable peace that you feel at any given stage. You're at a stage in your life where no matter whatever happens, whatever lemons life gives you, you are so at peace with yourself that you could that it doesn't bother you and it doesn't affect your vibration. And it's that, notion of your cup being so full that you are, that you're not just aiming to love, that you are love itself, that which means you're so full that all you do is just pass it on and give it on and give it on and give it on. And that is spiritual beauty, because when that happens, you kind of become so light that you literally become light, and that's when people are attracted to you. And people are not attracted to you if your face is symmetrical, or something is sharper or sharp, or your skin is glowing. No, they're really attracted to how they think you could make them feel. And if anything, that's what there are certain people that you have in your life, I'm sure we have that you kind of want to hang out with all the time and that you want to tell everything to because they make you just feel so safe. And that's what spiritual beauty is.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. Now, your company, Allies of Skin, focuses on ingredients to improve the health of our skin. And, one of the things that I'm always saying as a medical intuitive healer, age 65, you can only look as good on the outside as your cells are healthy on the inside. What ingredients should a person look for when they're wanting to make their skin better?
Yes. So I would always start with a vitamin C in the morning. That's something that you can't go wrong because an antioxidant like vitamin C can really protect your skin again and boost the effects of your SPF. It doesn't obviously replace your SPF, but it can make your SPF work better because it helps with free radical protection, and it also helps to boost collagen production and brightens your skin. Then I would say retinoids. Retinoids are the gold standard, and it's an ingredient that has years and years and years of efficacy data. So you could have acne and you could use retinoids. You could have fine lines, wrinkles, you can use retinoids. You can have excess pigmentation, sun damage, you can use retinoids. So it's a really do it all, and it actually helps to thicken your skin as well over time. So it's a brilliant, brilliant one. I would say the other two ingredients that we recently launched products with have I love them so much because I discovered them when I was going through a really bad phase with my skin. And one of them is epidermal growth factors. So growth factors are one of those ingredients where imagine if you cut yourself and you have a wound, and even if you don't do anything to it, the skin actually heals itself. And so what happens when you cut yourself is when your body produces growth factors. So it's really naturally producing. So it's that same concept because so when you apply growth factors to your skin, it actually speeds up that repair of your skin, which is something that I love. And there's an ingredient called copper tripeptide, which is a really, really brilliant one for really strengthening the skin, helping with skin tone, promoting collagen production, and it also helps with barrier health. And at the end of the day, barrier health is so important because again, the skin is your body's first line of defense, right? Your skin is a barrier, and the barrier has to be strong so that it can retain moisture better, so that it can, really absorb all the products that you spend your money on. Because if your barrier is weak and compromised, then nothing's really gonna absorb. So that's something that's super important. So I would start there.
Great information. I would also add, just on a personal note, as I mentioned, I grew up in Savannah, Georgia, and it wasn't actually until my early mid 50s that I started wearing SPF. And a friend of mine suggested I go to a dermatologist because his best friend was a dermatologist. Now I go twice a year. And
Hmm.
we have to understand that, again, if you grew up like I did, not wearing SPF, then your skin may have had decades of exposure to the sun, and you can't tell that you can't look at your skin and know that you had skin cancer. The three skin cancers that I had, one was on the side of the nose, most recently on my ear, and then on my lower leg. I would never have guessed that. Also on for natural healing, after my second diagnosis of skin cancer, I did have to have skin cancer surgery. But in natural healing, I used Essiac tea. And Essiac tea is an herbal concoction, and it helps you work on the interior of your body if you're recovering from skin cancer. So I made some really good Essiac tea and did that for a period of time. Now, Nicolas Travis, founder of Allies of Skin. So many people think that skincare should only be a focus of people like me, I'm 65, who older, who are suffering from wrinkles and sun damage. At what age do you think people should start taking care of their skin? And at what age do you think people should start using SPF?
I think there are SPFs for babies right now, so I think you should start as long as your skin is exposed to the sun. So after 6 months, I would imagine is when a lot of pediatricians would recommend it. And in terms of when you should start taking care of your skin, I mean, I think it really depends on what your personal goals are. But we go through stages in life, right? And as teenagers, we most of us deal with acne. So that's usually a good time to start taking care of that. Um, so yes, I would say whenever you from when you're a teenager to when you get your first breakout, that's when you should start taking care of your skin.
Okay, now you are a great example of what can be done. You're a living, breathing testimonial of what can be done to heal our skin. How do you take care of your skin on a regular basis?
So besides skincare, exercise is something that's really important for me, and it's also what I put in my body. So I am a big believer in making sure that my gut is healthy. So there are, probiotic supplements are a must for me. I'm a big believer in also adaptogens. So mushrooms like reishi, cordyceps, chaga, lion's mane, those have been incredible, I guess, support in times of stress. Things like ashwagandha as well. I take daily as well. MSM I take daily as well for hair, skin, and nails. And if anything, as I get older, honestly, it's just giving yourself the permission to rest. Sleep is the best skincare, honestly. If you don't do anything, if you don't have money, just sleep. Love yourself and sleep. Trust me, you'll look a lot better than somebody with $1,000 skincare routine that hates themselves.
Great information. And with that, let's take a break and listen to a message from one of our commercial sponsors here at UK Health Radio. I'm your host, Catherine Kerrigan, medical intuitive healer, Amazon #1 bestselling author. We're listening to Nicolas Travis, founder of Allies of Skin. Nicolas Travis, founder of Allies of Skin. What dietary recommendations do you suggest for people wanting to improve their skin?
I would say, first and foremost, hydration is something that's really important. And that it doesn't just mean drinking water, because I know a lot of people have some difficulty sometimes drinking water, but you can eat your water. You can, for example, eat fruits or vegetables that are really, really high in water content. So that can help your body replenish itself. That I would say really start by focusing on, personally for me, I like a lot of lean protein. So a lot of fish. Fish is really great because it has a great source of omega 3, which is incredible for the skin. I would say greens are, you can't go wrong with greens. Leafy dark greens have a lot of incredible nutrients. Spinach, kale. I would start there. And also, I think if you have, for example, if you have some concerns with your immunity and things like that, taking, Manuka honey, look out for UMF score, which is unique Manuka factor. And you could, I don't really take a lot of medication, so, and I'm not saying that this replaces your medication, but for example, if I feel a cough coming or sore throat, I would just take a lot of Manuka honey before I take, anything for the throat, and it you always helps me.
Great advice. And you're talking about subjects that we've covered here in numerous radio shows here at the Natural Healing Show for UK Health Radio. So we've talked about how honey has antiviral and antimicrobial ingredients and properties. And many people use honey actually as a skincare mask. Have you used honey as a skincare mask?
Yes, all the time. I love it. Manuka honey.
So how do you make a skincare mask with honey?
Oh, it's very simple. So honey is a humectant, so you should always apply it. If you want to use it as a mask, always apply it on very damp skin, either with water or mist or toner, whatever it is. And then you just apply a layer. I mean, it might feel very uncomfortable for people who are not used to the stickiness, but once you get used to it, you can leave it on for as long as you want. I work from home and I leave it on sometimes for hours. And it's just so good for the skin.
Now, when I'm working with people who want to improve their skin, one of the things that I talk about is increasing their antioxidants through fruits and vegetables, which you talked
Yes.
about, because the higher your antioxidant levels, the cleaner your blood. If you do in natural healing, there's people who actually look at your blood and can tell you, what's going on with your health by looking at your blood cells under a microscope. And bottom line, the higher your antioxidant levels, the healthier your blood will be, and the faster your body will heal from everything, right? And so juices and smoothies can be a great help for our health and energy as well as our skin. Now, Nicolas Travis, many people believe in collagen supplements for their skin. What is your opinion about collagen supplements?
Yeah, I love that question a lot. I think there have been increasingly more studies which show that it can actually now look, collagen supplements will not reduce your fine lines and wrinkles. It's very important to state. However, because they are made from the building blocks of protein, which is amino acids, multiple amino acids, when you ingest them, there are a lot of studies that show that your skin retains moisture better. It can actually help your skin look healthier. And so those are the things that I take collagen supplements as well. Those are the things I take it for. So yes, there are more data that shows that they do provide results, but it's probably not the results that people. I think it's very important to stress that it's not going to eradicate your fine lines and your wrinkles. It's really just going to help your skin look more hydrated.
Okay, great information. Now, when I'm working with people as a medical intuitive healer on various skin challenges, one of the things that I look at is your food sensitivities, which are going to be unique to you. But there's a difference between a food allergy and a food sensitivity. So, a food allergy, you have an immunoglobulin reaction to it, Food sensitivity just means that the foods are aggravating different organs. It could be your liver, kidneys, digestive system. So common food sensitivities include gluten, grains, cow's milk, soy, sometimes corn, sometimes eggs. In your professional opinion, how important is it to identify and eliminate food sensitivities to improve our skin?
I think it's quite important. So this actually happened to me after I turned 30. There was a period of time I couldn't figure out why, but I was really fatigued. I was bloated. I was feeling really, really exhausted, even though I was eating really well. So I did a blood test because I kind of suspected that I probably wasn't eating the right thing, even though I was eating really healthy, really, high quality foods. Turns out a lot of what I was eating was causing inflammation in my body. So I had to do a process of elimination. I couldn't eat shrimp, I couldn't eat beef, I couldn't eat honey. I couldn't eat green beans, then I couldn't eat dairy and gluten and all that. So and eggs, I had to stop all of it and then slowly reintroduce it. So right now, what has stuck around is the dairy portion. So I had to just give my body a rest. So yes, it's extremely important.
So, and what if I've got a client who has multiple food sensitivities? What I'm going to do is heal their gut and heal the mucosal barrier, which is the inner lining
Correct.
of your GI tract.
Correct, absolutely. So this actually happened to me. So a few months ago, it was in April, I started taking colostrum, which has been shown to really help with the gut. And I have been taking it daily for the last like say 3+ months. And it was when I was at a wedding about 2 weeks ago where there was a lot of cheese, there was vegetarian only, and it was like a lot of cheese. And so I had no choice. I always thought I couldn't eat cheese. And so I had to just eat. But then I was a 3-day wedding and I wasn't bloated once. And I was like, this is my gut being really more resilient right now. And it was a really great realization.
Yeah, so I have clients and I can typically cut their food sensitivities in half in 2 weeks by healing their gut. And I really am passionate about that because it's hard to, eat a highly restrictive diet forever. And
Yeah.
when I was younger, I ate no gluten, no corn, no dairy, no eggs, no sugar, no alcohol for about 5 years. And then I went crazy, but no one had helped me heal my gut. So I really am a big believer in healing the gut. And then your food sensitivities decrease significantly. So, Nicholas Travis, in your professional opinion, what is the relationship between being a highly sensitive person and having sensitive skin?
So you could we have certain triggers, right? So just because one ingredient irritates my skin doesn't mean it's going to do that for you. Everyone's skin is different. It's again, like you said, like the fingerprint. So we're all unique in that regard. And if anything, you can have generally sensitive skin, but you can also strengthen your skin like you strengthen your gut so that it becomes less reactive. However, you could be constantly, if you're over exfoliating, if you're using the wrong actives, if you're overdoing things, that's usually when you disrupt the barrier. So the beautiful thing about the skin, like the gut, is that you can always strengthen it and you can always do a reset.
So, Nicholas Travis, so many people who use skincare products want to feel beautiful. As you who have studied this literally from the inside out, what mindset do people need to adopt to feel beautiful?
I think it's about self-compassion. I think it's about not comparing yourself. I think it's, for example, when you have acne and you go on social media and you see somebody who's been like, oh, yeah, my acne cleared up in 3 months. which is usually not the case. And then you start beating yourself up, you start feeling like a loser or failure if your acne doesn't clear up in that period of time. And I think everyone's journey is different, and I think you just have to be patient with yourself, and you have to have a lot of self-compassion. So do not compare yourself. And also more importantly, focus on other things that you can control, right? Like, for example, if you have acne, figure out what's triggering your acne, right? And it's sometimes it's not about, sometimes it's a hormonal thing. Sometimes it's, using the wrong kind of products. Sometimes it's also, inflammation in your gut. Sometimes it's also a food allergy that you didn't know about that's triggering breakouts. So it's very important to know what that is. I mean, there's so many things that are they're in your control that you can figure out. But then, for example, if it's the time of the month and you're on your period and you break out, don't beat yourself up for it because that's not something that you can control.
Great information. Nicolas Travis, founder of Allies of Skin. Any final thoughts for our audience?
Uh, well, I would just like to say that people will try to people will try to sell you a lot of products. But if anything, when it comes to figuring out what works best for you and your skin, do as much research as possible. There are no stupid questions. Just ask as many questions as possible. But also know that at the end of the day, it's less important about what we have on the outside and more important on how we feel about your ourselves on the inside, because when you're in the right state of mind, everything wrong becomes right.
Beautiful information. Thank you so much for everything you're contributing. You've been listening.
Thank you so much, Catherine.
Of course. You've been listening to the Natural Healing Show for UK Health Radio. I'm your host, Catherine Kierrigan, medical intuitive healer, Amazon #1 bestselling author. You can find out more about me at catherinekierrigan.com and unlimitedenergynow.com. Our guest today has been Nicolas Travis, founder of Allies of Skin. And you can find out more about Nicolas Travis and his wonderful work at his website, alliesofskin.com, which is available worldwide. And remember that your skin is your largest organ. And when you take care of your health inside and out, you can radiate beauty naturally. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.